from Legally Shalini. I'm just jumping on to talk to you today about what to say in your responses to emails by clients for a refund from your service. It's a big topic of conversation at the moment. Firstly, can I just say you don't have to respond with an offer immediately. What you can do is say that you will get to them after you've reviewed your contract, or in due course, because you do need to actually attend to making yourselves and your family safe first. So that's number one. Number two is it depends really on what your client contract or your service agreement says on how you respond to a request for refund. And it also depends on when that request was made. So if a request for a refund has been made for an event in the future in accordance with your terms and conditions, then you respond accordingly. So if according to your contract there's a certain time given that if you if you cancel your contract before that time and you're entitled to a refund, less costs of some description that's described in the contract, then of course you will respond accordingly and say, okay, that's fine. You will make an effort, of course, to find out why that request is being made. Now, here's the thing. If at that time the request is being made because coronavirus or government shutdowns, or the fact that they just don't see the event happening, this is probably a really good time to connect with your client and educate them about the fact that you may be what your plans are, and to I guess counsel them to some extent about the fact that you will continue to, that if you are running the event still in 6 months' time, or postponing it down the track, that they may consider deferring their fees up until that time. There is also an opportunity there to negotiate with the client to mitigate loss. So something along the lines that while you have cancelled within the period that is required in the contract, and we're happy to do so, we would like you to consider a loss mitigation offer from us, whereby will you a 50% refund would be acceptable to you, or something along those lines. It really depends on how well that you're able to negotiate. Now, if people have cancelled and are asking for a refund that is, it's close to, it's sort of like a deluge, and your events for the next 3 months obviously are now not going to go ahead, and people want their money back, it really does depend on your contract, okay? So to ask what should you say in response to that, it depends on how your contract is drafted and what the clause relating to uncontrollable events outside your control or terminations say, all right? Now, if you are able to, under your contract, deal with it from an uncontrollable event point of view, then you would want to look at mitigating cost. So that is what you would respond with. You would say, we are, this is assuming that you're not going to run the event anymore, the wedding is not postponed, or the event that people are cancelling for is now not going ahead at all. Okay, if it's been postponed, then you have every opportunity to say it's being postponed. This is the date, and we can offer the following: A, to have the fees to be deferred to that time; B, a 50% refund. C, we need to we need to add these, deduct these costs, and then the balance will be refunded to you. So it's really a matter of what is going on with your client, with your contract, the relationship with your client, because these are really difficult times, and people understand that. Okay, so they are expecting some negotiation from you. Not to expect some negotiation, it would be really unusual. So I know that you want me to give, and I'd love to give you a draft of words that say what you should say. And I certainly can, if I have the opportunity to look at your contract and advise you, okay, this is how you should be dealing with this particular request for refund, or this particular scenario, or this particular scenario. We can go through the scenarios here, but remember, it's very difficult to make sure that your that the response that you are giving is correct unless your contract has been looked at and the whole of it is taken into consideration when a response is created for you. So Sharon, you've got a question. I have offered FOC to reschedule a move and provide, so if we should be charging in. Yes, and that's a very important point. So moving forward, if clients do agree to new terms, that is to have the fees deferred, to have the event to be held at a later time, that there may be even a payment plan that you've created, you do need to have a new contract. You do need to generate a new set of terms that they agree to, so that all of that can happen at the right time in the future. I guess it's the same with anything that you do that's going to be different moving forward. So if you're actually changing your whole of service, then you do need to change your contract. If you are moving from providing a face-to-face service to an online service, then certainly your online service delivery needs to have a new contract. If a client who has booked in for a wedding or an event or a wedding-related supplier you're dealing with, and you have that event is being rescheduled, then you do need to issue them with new terms for that rescheduled event, because the event is happening unless you are preparing. There is that thing that if you're delivering it exactly the same way, you can update your contract. But if there are things that are significantly different, for example, the location or the fee, the actual delivery, what you will give and what you are going to provide and what you're not going to provide as a result of these circumstances, all of these will not be suited to the current contract. You will have to get a new contract when you roll out. But I want to come back to, the question that was given to me in the beginning is, what do you say in response to emails by clients who want to who are making a request for a refund? Look, you are dealing with clients who are also in a difficult position. They're trying to regain money in times that are looking a little bit tough and a little bit, a lot tough and a lot grim. But let me just say this. Businesses are also in the process of accessing a whole lot of business support services from government, which will allow them to get their businesses ticking over and to operate at some level until this crisis is over. And that's including my business, okay? Every business at some point will have access to some kind of services. It is your responsibility as a business owner to talk to your accountant, possibly pay their fees and get the advice and assistance that you need to make application for those packages. Sitting back and talking about it in Facebook groups and asking for advice from every person who's got something to say about it is not really going to help you actually make that application. In some instances, it's pretty easy. it happens, you know, behind the scenes with the ATO, and the money gets put into your account. But only today I saw that we now have to change our, you know, AusKey is changing, and we now have to register our businesses with MyGov. And I know that I am going to be calling my accountant and sending her an email and booking in for a session to ask her to help me to do this. And guess what? It's a paid session, because I have full confidence that business will take over. And it's not because, you know, I'm some wealthy lawyer sitting somewhere. I run an online service just like everybody else. I'm a sole practitioner, and, you know, cancellations and refunds just as much my nightmare as it is yours. So you've got to work on the basis that that you will have the funds to keep your business going. And part of the application of your funds is to get advice in relation to these things. And one of them is to make sure that you have your responses accurate and ready to go, that are going to be useful for you and for your client, that will help your business progress in the long run. And this can't be done as general advice only. It needs to be individual advice based on the contract that your client signed with you in the first place. And I, you know, as a legal practitioner, I can't manifest that contract in front of me. It takes time for me to read through someone's contract and to provide that advice. It's not a one-liner. I really wish it was, that I could just give a one-liner and that would be the end of it. So my advice to you is to step back for a minute and think to yourself, okay, I am seriously wanting to save my business, and I do want to see it through and come out at the other end, whether it's in 6 months or 9 months. Yes, it's looking grim, and there's been massive cancellations and requests for refunds, and I'm probably likely to lose a real lot of money. But at the same time, understand that over the next few weeks, there will be some financial relief that is meant to be applied to saving your businesses, so that you can pay your employees and your suppliers and get things done for ourselves. I notice you say you don't have accountants. Well, this is a really good time to find one, okay? I know that you are running businesses, and part of running a business is to, at some point, engage professionals to help you. There are a lot of accountants and lawyers out there who have very affordable entry-level services. I am one, and if you need the name of an accountant that can help you at this time, I know of quite a few that I'm happy to share the names about. But the fact of the matter is that no professional person can easily just give blanket professional advice in a group and expect that it will be taken and someone will take it. Now, if it's not the right advice because we don't have the right information, then we are liable. Okay, and we need, and that's just that is the whole point of having, you know, giving tailored individual advice. I don't want to go on about that though here. That's not the purpose of my chat today. My response to you is, if you are having requests for cancellations and you do need to respond to those, go back to your contract and see what can be negotiated from there. And if you are going, if your client accepts different conditions, if they accept a reschedule, if they accept a postponement, please put it into another contract and have them sign it, so that they know exactly what the terms and conditions are moving forward for when that event is presented or delivered to them in 6 months' time or 9 months' time. So, you know, it's really very important that you, whatever your contract is that you go back to your contract. If you don't understand how to respond from your contract, get help. I have a service that can help you, and you know, I'll put my link in for you to book in for that if that is something that you think will help you. And I think Sharon has also made a comment that the government has made professional services available, and yes, please access them. It's very, very important that you do that. I felt overwhelmed for a couple of days when I looked at it all and thought, oh my God, who am I going to talk to? Ultimately, I ended up thinking to myself, right, I have to get advice about the way my business is structured and how I'm delivering my service and how I can access some of these things, because I wasn't sure either. Okay, and that's coming from the fact that I am a business just like yours. Now, having said that, now that I'm entering into a period where I am offering different services to clients, where I've introduced payment plans, where I've introduced a reduced fee for a minimum period, for a limited period of time, these are things that I will need to introduce and include in my client agreement or my service agreement with clients. And it's absolutely the thing that you must do, is have that in mind when you are moving forward. Now, I'm very, very confident that we will come out of this. I think that it will just mean that we will be doing business differently. But still, your relationships are important. They're key to your business success. And having a proper terms and conditions and service agreements in place will support that. And it's just as important online as it is offline, and it's just as important for your events that are in the future as they were for the ones that have had to be cancelled. It's completely up to you as a business person how you step up to this. There'll be people around you to support you if you choose to, work through this period and work on your business and see it through the other end. So yes, I think that's really about all I have to say on the matter. I wish that there was a more, easy answer to give to all of you, but unfortunately, everybody's business is unique. You are all running services the way they suit you. You all know how your businesses have been going. You know what client issues you're facing. You know the biggest one right now is that people want their money back. How you respond to that is what you will need to get advice on. And, the help is out there. When I jump off, I will put my link in there for a free chat. If that's what you need. If you need advice about a specific clause in your contract, I'll put that link in there as well. And if you need your service agreement reviewed or rewritten, you will need to book in a free chat with me so that I can assess whether a review is appropriate or a custom draft is required. Because sometimes what you have in front of you is I'm not sure where you got it, or whether it in fact represents your business, whether it just takes less time to write a new one than it does to dismantle another document. I think that's about all I have to say. If there's any other questions at any time, Sharon, I'm happy to jump on and address it. I hope that you are all staying safe and keeping well, and I do hope that we chat again soon about any other issues that you might have, and contact me if you need to. Have a great weekend. I know it's only Thursday, but I can't wait till Friday. Bye for now.